All right, let's talk about the all summer league teams. Let's go. Are we live? I think we're live. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about it. So we have my personal summer league teams here. I'll be breaking them down into 5 players per team. So we're gonna do a first team, a second team, and then we're going to do an honorable mention team. So we'll get 15 players in all that I kind of liked throughout the summer league and thought, in my personal opinion, were very, very good. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel, comment on the video, and like it as well. Helps me out. So, all right, let's talk about the my personal all-star or all summer league teams and talk a little bit about why I made those decisions. Let's start off with our first team, which is headlined by Peyton. Why am I blanking on his name? Peyton Pritchard. My gosh. So Pritchard, super solid. He shot the 3 really, really well. Obviously, his last game wasn't the greatest in the Summer League Championship game, but ultimately, I liked a lot of what I was able to see from him. Played defense, was able to rebound the ball. Kind of a smaller version. A lot of people were freaking out about Jalen Suggs performing at a high level at Summer League, but I watched Hillis. I keep wanting to say Peyton Hillis, the running back from the Cleveland Browns like 10 years ago. Peyton Pritchard was very solid and able to really fill up the box score similar to what Suggs was doing. And Suggs was just getting a lot more attention. I think Pritchard is super good. I think he is a guy that might be able to break the rotation in Boston, but in Summer League, he played very, very well. Let's move on to Jalen Green next. Jalen Green was another standout in Summer League. Obviously, he showcased his skills on the offensive side of the ball, being able to score, being able to just really show everything, his whole arsenal of abilities in Summer League. So, oh no, there it is. So Jasper Bowden asks, thanks for joining us, Jasper. Jasper asks, Pelicans should have been in the Summer League Championship. Yeah, they were close. They obviously had that last the close game with why am I blanking out, with Golden State, and that game came close to the wire. I think it was Kyle Guy's 3-pointer that shouldn't have counted because it was still in his possession or still in his hands when the shot clock went off, and then they still gave him the points because the refs didn't look at it. That was a little weird. But yeah, I would have liked the Pelicans a little bit more than it was. Who would have they? I think, would they have replaced Boston? Yeah, I think they would have replaced Boston. So yeah, Pelicans Kings probably would have been fun too. So definitely agree with that from Jasper, who joined us on our live stream chat here. Okay, so yeah, Jalen Green, super solid all across the board. I don't really feel like I need to talk about Green too much, just because he really, I think, was. If he plays all games in Summer League, I feel like he's the best player in the Summer League for sure. My boy, Chris Duarte, wasn't super high on him during the draft process, but slowly kind of came around to him, kind of closer. I never thought he was an end of the first round guy, but I never thought he was a dude who could have broken the top 10. But he played very, very solid. I always say this, he seemed under control. He seemed like he knew what he was doing, was able to shoot the ball pretty well, was able to be a leader for the team as well. Just kind of, I think he played point guard duty for a little bit, but also was able to shoot very well, as along with being able to just be a guy who can set up the team in their offense. So pretty solid from Chris Duarte. I think it is an absolute joke that the NBA media left him off of their 2 teams. In my personal opinion, the dude was first team, all Summer League team. And I can't believe, the NBA media just doesn't know what they're talking about half the time. Yeah, let's move on to our next dude, Jaylen Johnson. I think Jaylen Johnson was right. I think he makes sense. I think he was, I honestly liked what he provided more than I saw from a guy like Obi Toppin. I think Jalen Smith is athletic. I think he knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. The only question I kind of had coming into the draft was how was he going to score in the half court offense? Here, he just kind of knew where he was going. Again, when you have these dudes, these players that come in super athletic, they're just way more athletic than most of the guys around them. They're going to dominate. So I'll give the Johnson maybe naysayers that Summer League is kind of meant for him to dominate because he is that dude who's more athletic than most other dudes that are on the court with him. But again, he showed a lot of 20 and 10 games. He wasn't, I think he had the one game where he shot the three pretty well. But other than that, not really too much there. But a dude who plays in transition, I still think he's a little lost on the offensive or the defensive side of the ball. He does commit some turnovers, but Jaylen Johnson, I think, was one of the dudes that at pick 20, the Hawks were able to get him at. And I just don't think that there's 19 other guys in the NBA in this draft that are going to be better than Jaylen Johnson come 2 years into the future from now. So I love Jaylen Johnson. If you watched any of my other videos, I had him as a top 5 talent on my draft board. And so for him to go to the Hawks and for him to show out in Summer League obviously makes me a little happy. Trey Murphy's the last dude who was on my list for the first team. How about Trey Murphy? Just dude shot the ball very well. He was a dude who went in and was just absolutely a leader for this young Pelicans roster. Obviously, they had like Najee Marshall, they had Didi Lazauda, and then they also had Herb Jones. But Trey Murphy being able to shoot the ball well in his first game, I think really set the tone for the Pelicans team. A team that Jasper mentions up there in the chat that they were a team that were so close to being able to get to that championship game for Summer League. And so for them to be on the outside looking in on that championship game, I mean, obviously stinks, but Trey Murphy is one of the biggest reasons why they were really good in the first place. Was active on defense. I think there was a couple plays where he was passing the ball very well. May have not resulted in assists, but was a guy that I really liked. Watching. And look, 3-and-D, we always talk about these 3-and-D players. He's got length to him. He's got size. He's never going to be a dude I feel like is going to be able to create a shot for himself, but a solid contributor in the NBA. Maybe Trevor Ariza maybe. Second team. So this is now my second team. I did put Cam Thomas on this list. Look, he did struggle a little bit, I think, in the first 2 games, but then he kind of caught his, he kind of got with it, I should say, and started to play a lot better. So I really liked Cam Thomas. The dude scored. He was kind of the one dude that a lot of people were talking about out of Summer League, just because people are like, oh, he plays for the Nets, and the Nets have this young guard that can be able to score a lot, and maybe that's a good thing for them. I don't think he's a dude that plays this season, but is he a dude that kind of they can develop a little bit more and more? Maybe he gets better on the defensive end because he's not great there right now. So does he get better? Do the Nets develop him a little bit more? And in a couple of years, do we see him play a little bit of a role for the Nets moving forward? But great Summer League. I mean, shot the ball very well. Doesn't do much else. I mean, doesn't rebound, doesn't pass the ball particularly well. But he really scores at all 3 levels. And that's something that is valuable. Next dude on my list is Keke Cunningham. Keke Cunningham was a dude obviously taken with the number 1 overall pick by the Detroit Pistons. And I think he played solid. I was critical of him for the first couple of days, but then I kind of realized, he is playing off ball. He's not playing with the ball in his hands, and he's a playmaking guard. So if he's kind of not playing the position he's best at, he's not in the best position to succeed in the Summer League. Also, the players that were around him weren't great. There were plays where he was passing the ball pretty well, and other players just weren't making shots. So, it is what it is there. Would have liked to see him score a little bit better and more efficiently. Would have liked the turnovers to come down a little bit as well. But ultimately, I liked Cade. He definitely deserves to be on these 2 top 10 players in the Summer League. I know he missed some games just because they held him out at the end, but Keke Cunningham, look forward to him. I think he's probably the shoo-in for Rookie of the Year, but keep your eyes on Jalen Green because I think he is also right there. And that battle between Green and Cunningham, I think, is going to be one that we'll be interested in the future as well. Davion Mitchell is next. So Davion Mitchell was a dude that I was critical of. I kind of was high on him initially when we were kind of in the middle of February and March when I was watching Baylor a lot. And I was like, man, this dude is just a killer on defense. He shoots the 3 really well. He's a better playmaker than he has been. And then I watched their run, Baylor's run to the national championship, obviously winning the national championship. And I was like super high on him. But then it was one of those things where it's like, you watch a dude for so long, you get super high on him, and then you kind of like start getting the bigger picture. And the bigger picture with Mitchell is that there's a size issue, there's an age issue, and there's also an issue where he wasn't shooting the ball particularly well in college until like these last 2 seasons. And so for me to, totally dismiss what he was for his first 2 years in college, like, I don't know. I think I had my questions, so I dropped him on my draft board, but he plays well in Summer League. His defense is contagious. Obviously, there was moments where we saw, like last night's game in the Summer League final, where he locked up Peyton Pritchard. There's another moment that went viral about him locking up James Bouknight in the game that they played against the Hornets. And so his defense is there. I think he definitely helps the Kings culture. How much time he gets in Sacramento is going to be interesting, because I don't know how much minutes they're going to want to take away from Halliburton and Fox, who are clearly the future of Sacramento. And it'll be interesting to see kind of how that works out. But as for his Summer League, I think he played pretty well, given the questions that were surrounding him going into the Summer League. And then also the one thing I would like to mention as well with Mitchell is that he shot the ball pretty well. And I think his turnovers weren't too out of hand as well. So pretty good. He's also older than most players as well. So, I mean, yeah. Second to last player here on our second team is going to be Jonathan Kaminga. I liked what I saw from Kaminga. I was very much a doubter of Kaminga going into the draft. I just thought that his time in the G League he was really, really raw. His shot selection wasn't great. Like, he was taking like 9 threes a game, but he wasn't making them at a rate that you would like. And then defensively, he was a little lost, but Kaminga, I think, shows flashes of potential. You look at the athleticism, you look at the body that he has, you look at what he can be on defense, and you just get excited about it. I think we saw some good flashes of athleticism and ball handling. There was the one move where he made in one of the games that he played in where he handles the ball, does a quick crossover, and just drives to the bucket and slams it. Like, that is the skill set that Kaminga has. Now, whether he can hone in and be able to maximize his ability and be able to eventually be able to reach his ceiling, I don't know. I think he has a really high ceiling, but he also, if he doesn't really do anything in the league and doesn't progress, then obviously it's a wasted top 7 pick. But I think for the Warriors, it's a good selection, just because they can groom him and go from there. So really liked what I saw from Kaminga. And then I think one of the biggest dudes that was left out of the NBA media, all summer league teams, was Sengun, Alperen Sengun, who was drafted by the Rockets. Sengun was a baller. I mean, this dude was able to do a lot of things very efficiently. Now, this Turkey league that he was in before this season, before being drafted by the Rockets, I should say, the Turkey league that he played in, he dominated. He was the MVP, and he's still a young dude, still growing. But he has length, he has size. He's not a good defender at all, which, okay, I'm fine with that. But he plays on the perimeter. He can shoot a little bit. He's a smart player. I like everything that I see from Sengun, and I think he's a solid NBA contributor. I wonder exactly how the Rockets' rotation is going to work, just because they have Christian Wood. They just brought in Daniel Tice, and I'm kind of wondering exactly where Sengun fits into all that. But I do believe that Sengun had a great summer league, and I think he needs more respect. Put some respect on Alperen Sengun's name. And there was that, his free throw routine is great. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But yeah, Sengun, love him. I think he's another dude. When we were going through the draft process, I was kind of like low on him, and then I kind of, as we got closer, I was like, okay, I can kind of see what people are seeing. So Sengun played a really good summer league for a big guy, which is pretty good. Okay, now we're going on my honorable mention team. These are guys that I'll talk really quickly about, but dudes that I thought just had good summer leagues and just didn't really get enough attention. How about Miles McBride for the New York Knicks? Dude was coming off the bench for the first part of the summer league and was playing pretty good minutes and scoring at a good rate. Like, he was shooting the ball. He's able to make sure his turnovers were a little bit of an issue, like most guards, but he was shooting the ball very well. in a variety of ways, can be able to shoot off the dribble a little bit. Obviously, catch and shoot situations he was really good at when he was shooting from the perimeter, and showed some athleticism as well. So I like Miles McBride. He was another dude that I liked going into the draft, and to see him perform for the Knicks was really nice. How about James Bouknight? Low on Bouknight. I don't know exactly what his role is with the Hornets this upcoming season and if he's ready for a big role, but we'll see what happens with Bouknight. James Bouknight played a pretty solid. He scored at a good rate. He was turning over the ball. There was obviously that video that I mentioned earlier about, Davion Mitchell playing such aggressive defense on him and him kind of just backing down a little bit. I don't know exactly what he provides outside of his scoring, but I do think he is a dude that showed some playmaking skills as well during Summer League. And that's always good to see, because if Bouknight's not shooting the ball well, my question was always, what is he going to provide when he's not scoring? But if he is a facilitator, then, we'll go from there. Pringles says, hey, what's up? What's up, Pringles? Pringles is a new guy to our channel, and good to hear from you. Almost done with this video, though. So, let's see here. Our second dude, or our third dude, I should say, on our list is Josh Christopher. I really liked what I saw from Christopher. I thought he was a dude that was very, very solid playmaker. Again, because the Summer League is kind of angled more and these perimeter players are a little bit more prioritized, it's really good for me to see that Christopher was a dude that was performing well at a good rate at the Summer League, but he was also scoring the ball, he was passing, he was rebounding, he was getting out in transition, he could shoot a little bit. I liked what I saw from Christopher. He was more of a playmaker as far as like moving dudes into position than I think Jalen Green was. Don't worry about it, Pringles, but I think on Friday we're doing our I'll be doing my NBA schedule release kind of live stream, talk a little bit about that, and that starts, I believe that's 2 Pacific time, so that's 5 p.m. Eastern time, so feel free to come join us on that because that'll be fun. So back to Christopher. Christopher was really solid. I think Christopher is a dude that can maybe get some minutes for the Rockets. Again, I've kind of mentioned with the Rockets rotation, I wonder exactly how they're going to work out their guard situation. Again, they still have Eric Gordon. They still have John Wall. I don't know how much minutes those guys are going to sacrifice to play these younger dudes like Josh Christopher, like Jae'Sean Tate, and obviously there's still Kevin Porter there. There's obviously the number 2 pick overall with Jalen Green. So we'll kind of have to look into that a little bit more when it comes up to that time. And we'll do another video, I think, closer to the NBA season and talk a little bit more about rotations and what they could be, because, people talk about like James Bouknight having a big role in the Hornets. I don't see it. They just signed Oubre. They already have all their young players there. They bring in... Obviously, Malik Monk is going to leave some minutes, but I think those are going to be swallowed up by Oubre. Obviously, they lose Devontae Graham, and but I just don't know how many minutes Bouknight's going to go. So in the future, we'll do an NBA rotations video as we get closer to the season as well. So yeah, Josh Christopher was really solid, and then my second to last dude here that I'll talk about is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes was really great. I know that he struggles on offense. I know that when he scores, it looks like something from the 80s, but I think he's still impactful on the defensive end. I think he's still a playmaker, a good passer. I think he's a smart player that isn't really going to turn over the ball too much. I'll be interested to see how the Raptors use him and see if they want to play him at point guard, because I think he played primarily point guard for his Florida State team. And so I wonder if maybe the Raptors went the unconventional route and they say, everybody's like, oh, the Raptors need Jalen Suggs. They just lost Kyle Lowry, or at the time they were going to lose Kyle Lowry, and they need a guard of the future. But they think okay, well, let's get who we believe is a guard of the future in Scotty Barnes to run the point guard position. So it'll be interesting to see what the Raptors do. I liked what Barnes provided. Again, offensively, I know he's limited, but I liked what I saw from Summer League. I think he's better than most guys that were out there. And then the last dude, who got on the honorable mention list is Omer Yurtseven. Dude balled out, And if we're talking about these dudes that can go and get like 20 and 10 in the summer league, like people are freaking out about Luka Garza and how he played. Year 7 was really, really solid. He's a dude that I think probably gets minutes in Miami because they're still maybe trying to figure out the backup center role after Bam Adebayo, I should say. So can Year 7 maybe play some NBA minutes? Maybe. But is he another one of these dudes that the Heat have found that were undrafted and that they just develop into a guy who can get rotational minutes in the NBA? I think Year 7 is kind of the next man up. We saw like Kendrick Nunn. I think obviously Duncan Robinson was a dude that the Heat have developed and made into somebody. And so I really like Year 7 and what he did in the Summer League. And I think he's a dude that moving forward, we'll see a little bit more of when the season comes around. That will do it for my stream. So those are my guys for my personal all Summer League teams. So if you are interested in the channel, make sure to subscribe to it, comment. We got our live stream chat finally working here, so you can see it on screen. And Friday we'll be doing a NBA schedule release kind of reaction show, stream, whatever you want to call it, and talking a little bit more about what teams will face towards the end of the year. That's where I really like to look at is the last like 5 to 10 games of the season. What are the team's schedules? Because it really helps kind of get us prepared for the playoff run and the playoff positioning race that teams will be in, and obviously the play-in race as well. And maybe we'll paint a better picture for us to kind of understand like what teams could potentially get better position in the playoffs due to what their season looks like at the end of the season. Schedule looks like at the end of the season, I should say. Yeah, and that is it. We'll see you later. We'll see you later, Pringles. We'll see you on Friday, hopefully. And if you're watching this video or rewatching it, we'll hopefully see you on Friday when we do our scheduled release show. And that is it for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Comment. Tell me who you personally thought was great in Summer League, and we'll have a little conversation. Take care, Pringles, and we will see the rest of you guys on Friday, hopefully. But if not, we'll see you later on. Have a good day.